everyone. So we are going to be talking about savings accounts today. So savings accounts are just kind of like checking accounts, except they are a lot more complicated. So we're going to start off with a lot of definitions. So first and foremost, let's talk about what a savings account is. So it's basically an account that you typically have with a bank that earns interest on the money you deposit. So in a checking account, you don't earn any interest, but in a savings account, you do earn interest. And from bank to bank, the interest rates change. Typically, some give more and some give less, but right now, savings accounts are not giving very much interest. So interest rate, what is that? That is a specific rate or portion of the balance that will be added to your account. So for instance, if you had an interest rate of 3%, then you're going to get 3% back on whatever you deposit into that account. And it could be compounded a number of different days or weeks or however your bank is set up. Now, typically, you're going to have a principal or a balance that's going to be in your savings account. So that's basically the money that you have in the account at the time that you start it, if you continue to deposit money into the account, it would be basically the amount that you have currently in your account. Now, each savings account typically has something called an annual percentage rate or an APR, and that's going to be the yearly interest rate that you will get guaranteed by the bank. So it's saying, hey, if you put your money into this savings account, I promise you I will give you this much interest back per year. Now, there are two different types of interest formulas. One is simple interest and the other one's compound interest. So we're going to start off with simple interest, but simple interest is exactly that. It's simple. So basically you take your principal, so the amount that you put in your account, and you times it by the rate, which is, your APR, whatever rate they're going to give you, times the amount of time, so the amount of years that you're going to keep it in the account. Now, this is assuming that we're not adding any more money into the account. We're just putting in a lump sum and then going from there, okay? So we're gonna look at calculating simple interest in just a second. I do wanna go over the last four terms really quickly though with you. So your statement savings, that's basically showing your monthly activity that you've had. So for instance, if you've deposited or taken any money out, it will show that. Your minimum balance is basically the smallest amount of money that you need to have into your account before you potentially could incur a fee. And then there are a whole bunch of different types of savings accounts as well. One being a money market account and another one being a certificate of deposit. We're not going to spend too much money or too much time on these. Just know that these are different options besides just having a basic savings account. All right, so let's go ahead and look at a simple interest example. Okay, so it says how much simple interest is earned on $4,000 in 3.5 years at an interest rate of 1.2%. So basically what they're saying is that you have a balance or a lump sum that you put in of $4,000 and you plan on keeping it in there for 3.5 years, and the interest rate that you're going to get is 1.2%, which is sadly pretty typical as far as interest rates go. So just a reminder of how simple interest works is you do principal times rate times time. So our principal being the $4,000, our rate being the 1.2%, and then our time being 3.5 years. Now notice that I did not put 1.2 into the parentheses. I had to adjust it accordingly. So we move our decimal place over 2 times. So it's going to be 0.012. That's the biggest mistake my students make, is that they don't move the decimal place over enough. So please remember that you should be moving over 2 places to the left. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this number into the calculator and it's going to pop out 168. So what does that mean? It means that I'm going to earn $168 in interest in 3.5 years. So not too bad for just putting money in and just waiting and letting it sit, okay? Now, the one that I really want to talk to you guys about is compound interest, okay? So compound interest is the one that you are going to earn the most money on because you're essentially earning interest on interest. So what that means is, let's say you put $4,000 in, just kind of like our last example, and you earn interest for the first year. The second year, they're going to take your balance as not what you originally put in, but they're going to take your balance of the new money that you deposited plus your interest. And so what's going to happen is you get interest upon the interest that you earned from the year prior. And so it's really, really great because you have this compound effect, meaning that you just continually get more and more and more and more money. And what compound interest is really great on is if you can keep your money in the bank into the long term. So think about, 30, 40 years in the bank, you can gain a lot more money versus simple interest would kind of give you the same rate over the course of time. Compound interest gives you more. Now, just because compound interest is more awesome, we have a more awesome formula. So you'll notice here it's very similar. We still have principal times rate times time, but you'll notice there's a new component in here, which is the N. So the N is the number of times it's compounded per period. So typically what we have is we have annual, which is 1 time per year. We have semi-annual, which is 2 times per year. And we have quarterly, which is 4 times per year. And we have, daily, which is 365 times per year. We have monthly, which is 12 times per year. And then we also have continuously, which is like every single second, but we're not going to really look at that today. So you can see where I've written down here. So your N for annual would be 1, your N for semi-annual would be 2, your N for quarterly would be 4, your N for monthly would be 12, and your N for daily would be 365. Continuously, we have a completely different formula, and I'm not going to be looking at that for today. Okay. All right, so we're going to be looking at this example. So it says Marie deposits $1,650 for 3 years at 1% interest compounded daily. What is her ending balance? So again, you'll be triggered by when it says compounded something. So not simple interest, but compounded. You're going to need to use the compound interest formula. So we have P, which is our principal, and we know that our principal here is 1,650 times 1 plus our rate. And our rate is 1%. So again, we have to move that decimal over. So it's 0.01 over our N. So daily here represents 365 days per year. And then it's going to be raised to our N times our time. And our time here is 3 years. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just plug this into a calculator. And when we plug it into a calculator, we get $1,700.25. So what that means is that over the course of 3 years, she earned $50.25 in interest, and her new balance is going to be the $1,725. All right, so last example for today is when we are looking into investing or saving, we really want to compare, apples to apples, meaning that we want to compare what different options we have. And so in this example, Nancy was receiving 2 different offers. She received her first offer of a savings account of 1.38% compounded daily. So you're thinking, oh, okay, it's compounded 365 days per year. That's really good. Account 2 is compounded quarterly. So only 4 times, but the rate is higher. So it's really important for us to figure out, okay, is the rate more important or is the compounding more important? And so only time will tell. So we're going to just see how much she would get at the end of the year. And we have to do both of these kind of the same. So we're going to take our first offer, which is going to be the $2,000, which is our principal, and then times our 1 plus our rate over 365 because it's compounded daily, raised to 365 times 1 because we're just going to assume that it's just going to be 1 year, okay? And then we're going to also do the same thing with the second offer. We're going to take her, again, $2,000, and we're going to times it by the 1 plus her rate of 1.9%, compounded quarterly, so that's 4, raised to the 4 times 1, again, just 1 year. And so what we want to do is we want to figure out what is going to be the price. So we're going to go ahead and put both of these in the calculator. And what you'll surprisingly find out is that account 2 is actually going to produce more money. Now, it doesn't look like it's producing a lot more money in the first year, but as we look, we'll realize very quickly that the rate is extremely important in figuring out whether you're going to make more money or not. So the higher your rate is, definitely the better it goes. So in account 1, we only earned $27.79 in interest. In account 2, we earned $38.27 in interest. And so you always want to go with the account that has the better interest rate, even if it's going to be compounded more. And so again, that's going to be probably most of the time, but some of the times maybe the interest rate is not going to be better if it's maybe only compounded once per year. So just again, really good reason why we want to compare, and we want to make sure that we're getting the most money for our investments. And so I hope you learned a little bit in this video in regards to savings accounts and what different types of savings accounts there are and what different types of interest rates there are. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. And again, thanks so much, and I'll see you guys in class.